When a navy calls itself pirates, who's really breaking the rules? The profitable war paradox. Welcome back to Amerixa Daily, your place for breaking perspectives on global power, hidden systems, and the stories behind the headlines. Let's start with something that sounds almost impossible. The world's most powerful military force, led by Donald Trump, is seizing ships, taking cargo, and openly describing it as profitable. Not defensive. Not temporary. Profitable. Now think about the scale for a second. We're not talking about one ship or one isolated moment. We're talking about a region like the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow stretch of water where nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through every single day. That's close to 20 million barrels of oil daily, worth billions of dollars moving through a single corridor. And in that corridor, ships are being intercepted. Cargo is being taken. Entire vessels are being controlled. And instead of denying it, it's compared to piracy. Now here's the paradox. Piracy is supposed to be illegal. It's supposed to be what happens when rules are broken. But what happens when a nation enforces rules, using methods that look exactly like piracy? Is it still illegal? Or does power redefine what the rules actually are? Think about that for a moment. Because on one side, this is framed as protecting global stability, preventing nuclear escalation, and maintaining order. On the other side, it looks like control over trade routes, resources, and economic leverage. And here's where it gets even stranger. If this is about security, why does it generate profit? If it's about order, why does it look like chaos? And if it's about rules, why do those rules seem to change depending on who's enforcing them? So here's the riddle. When power enforces order using the language of chaos, what is it really maintaining? Now the obvious answer feels simple. You might say, this is just enforcement. Countries break rules, and powerful nations step in to enforce them. That sounds reasonable. Like a police officer stopping a crime. But here's the question that should stop you. If this is enforcement, who actually benefits? Who gains from seized oil? Who profits from controlling shipping routes? And more importantly, where does that value really go? Let's bring this down to a simple level. Imagine you lend money to a friend. If they don't pay you back, you might take something of theirs to recover your loss. Clear system. There's a borrower. There's a lender. There's accountability. Now scale that up to countries. You might assume it works the same way. But here's where that logic breaks. At the global level, there isn't just one borrower and one lender. There are entire networks, governments, corporations, markets, alliances, all overlapping and interacting at the same time. So when a ship is seized, it's not like collecting a debt from a neighbor. It's something far more complex. Because the value doesn't just move from one place to another. It flows through systems. And that's where things start to get interesting. Layer 1, the system circulates value. Let's zoom out. When a government takes action like enforcing a blockade or seizing assets, the benefits don't just stay in one place. They circulate through the system. Think of it like moving money from your left pocket to your right pocket. A country may spend billions on military operations, ships, fuel, logistics, personnel. But at the same time, those actions can influence global oil prices, supply chains, and trade routes. And those shifts can feed back into its own economy. So even though it looks like an external action, a lot of the impact is internal. Left pocket. Right pocket. Here's where it gets fascinating. Governments are deeply connected to financial systems, markets, industries, energy sectors. So when global events shift those systems, the effects often loop right back. Layer 2, citizens are both inside the system. Now let's go deeper. Because governments aren't acting in isolation. Citizens are part of this system too. Through retirement funds, investments, mutual funds, and savings, people are connected to global markets. So when oil prices rise, when trade routes shift, when geopolitical tension increases, those changes can affect retirement savings, energy costs, stock markets, everyday living expenses. Here's the twist. The same system that projects power globally is tied directly to the financial well-being of its own people. That means ordinary citizens are not just watching events unfold. They are part of the system itself. Layer 3, the human story. Let's make this real. Imagine someone named Asha. She's a teacher. She works a steady job, saves money every month, and invests in a retirement fund. She doesn't follow global conflicts closely. She's focused on her students, her family, her future. But her savings? They're invested in markets influenced by global events. Now imagine tensions rise in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil supply becomes uncertain. Prices rise. Markets react. Companies shift. And suddenly, without even realizing it, Asha's financial future is affected by decisions happening thousands of miles away. Naval operations. Trade restrictions. Strategic enforcement. Actions that sound like piracy. She's not part of those decisions. But she is connected to their outcomes. And that's the paradox. So let's bring everything together. At first glance, this looks simple. A powerful nation enforces rules. Ships are seized. Order is maintained. But when you look deeper, you see something far more complex. You see a system where enforcement and profit can overlap. Power and economics are deeply connected. Global actions loop back into everyday lives. And most importantly, you see that the line between control and benefit isn't as clear as it seems. Here's the twist. This isn't just about ships or oil. It's about how modern power actually works. It's not a straight line. It's a loop. What goes out, comes back. So the next time you hear words like security, enforcement, or even piracy, remember this. The reality behind those words is layered, interconnected, and constantly shifting. And once you start seeing those connections, you don't just watch global events anymore. You understand how they shape everything, from markets to everyday life. Because the real answer to this paradox isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about realizing that in today's world, power doesn't just enforce rules. It defines them. And once you see that, you'll never look at global conflict, value, or control the same way again. What do you think about this? Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. And for updates like this every single day, don't forget to subscribe to Amerixa Daily. Thanks for watching.